Hey everyone, it's Siphon from Siphon TCG. Hopefully at one point I get a better intro than that. But I'd like to welcome to the Bullet Punch podcast, where it's just going to be me rambling for who knows how long, literally. I have some bullet points and I'm literally just going to speak. And today we are going to talk about, I don't know why I said we. Okay, you know what? I'm messing up already. Let's just go ahead and just get into it. I'll be discussing the post-rotation meta. I want to talk specifically about Unified Minds cards, Unified Mind decks, center decks that I want to see going forward to post-rotation. And before I ramble on and on and on, which I will ramble on and on and on, I want to go set by set. So we have Sun and Moon 10A, which is GG the End, headed by Garchomp, Giratina Tag Team. We have Sky Legend, which is... I actually don't remember what that one's headed by. And then we have Miracle Twin, which is obviously the Mew tag team. So starting with GG the End. So some of the really interesting cards from there. I'll kind of go from top to bottom on the Limitless TCG website. Shout out to them. Heatran GX is very interesting. What this ability allows you to do is when this Pokemon moves from your bench, becomes your active Pokemon, you may move any number of energy cards from your other Pokemon to this Pokemon. So in a lot of scenarios, its first attack, which costs 3 energy, unless it's literally like turn 1, you can probably do that for free. And 130 damage or 260 with weakness. Yes, you're killing a lot of things, but there's a lot of things you're also not killing, and without things like Choice Band, the 130 is just more to be desired. It does have 190 hit points, which puts out of range of a lot of things. I do believe Quagnag would need... What is it? 20 per? So it does 120 at base. Well, no, Quagnag literally just one-shot you. I'm just trying to think of water Pokemon that does not one-shot you. I can't remember. But its GS attack, it does 50 for each fire energy. I just feel like you would rather run something else. At the very best, this is like a one-off tech. If you just want like a 2-prize attacker rather than a 3-prize attacker and a tag team. But I feel like there's literally non-GXs that just does what he does better. So I'm not really impressed with Heatran GX. Raichu Alolan Raichu is probably one of the better cards in this set. And for me to explain this, you pretty much think of this as a tag team version of Zapdos. Now, I did see one translation of this card, with his GX attack, which I'll start there actually. It's for 3 energy, double lightning, colorless, you can do 150. Or if you have 2 extra energy, you can do 250 and switch it with one of your bench Pokemon. At one point, I seen a translation where it was 3 energy and it came back to your hand, so that's how I was playing it. Because I have Proxy the deck, which does involve this card, and that's how I was playing it. At no point have I actually ever used the bonus GX attack, so I couldn't have, misplayed there. But at the same time, really, I'm actually less disappointed than I thought it was. I actually prefer it this way, because what you use is just switch. So what you can do is you can load it up, switch, like I said, do the 150, come in the next turn, do 160, which is his first attack. Tandem Shock for the same cost as the GX attack, you do 80. Well, if you came in this turn, just like Zapdos, instead of doing 110, you can do 160, or 190, or 220. You see where I'm going? Like, you can do some really good numbers, and 260 puts you only 10 less out of Rayquaza, but Rayquaza does not have Choice Band when this comes out, so the 260 was looking a little bit better than it really should. Now, if anything close to Choice Band comes out, or damage modifiers like Incineroar get popular, then the 260 won't be as good as it once was. But for right now, I am definitely enjoying the 260 and this Pokemon overall. I will say this, the weakness of fighting, I believe, but does Buzzwole get a one-hit KO on you with Diancie? So 140, yeah. Buzzwole will get a one-hit KO on you on a Sledgehammer turn, plus Diancie. Dojo also does it, because you will do exactly 260, because it'll do 130 times weakness, but Just don't get on a Buzzwole turn. Easy, right? Easy. So, something I am interested in, literally just going short down the list, this is a lot of good stuff. All Wild GX, 170 HP, metal, obviously. Ability this is one of my favorite things, is when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may have your opponent reveal their hand, which is already amazing. You could have stopped at this ability just right there. Just look at your opponent's hand. I would have been like, oh, this is great. Now, is this like the best ability in the game? No, but like that's already great. But it says put any number of basic Pokemon you find there onto your bench. So with spread decks and like certain decks that can hit more than one Pokemon, this can be great. You can literally get free KOs. You can disrupt your opponent by benching something a couple turns earlier than they want to. And this is just great. Because, let me just think of a far-off example. So let's say a current Rashizard list. Let's just hypothetically say. The ones that run Arcanine Growlithe. Usually they would want to wait to bench their Growlithe. Just in case, because they don't know if they need it. So let's say you Mawile GX their Growlithe onto the bench. And then going into their turn, they Acrobike. And one's a Arcanine, the other one does say a Welder. Well, I mean, obviously most times they take the last by example. Let's just say it's just a random fire energy. They're either A, forced to take the Arcanine, and let's say you just put it on the bench that turn, and you have a way to gust. So let's say you have two custom catchers, and you can custom catcher in the Growlithe. So basically, if they take the Arcanine, it's going to be a dead card because you can kill their Growlithe. Or they could have needed that energy to Welder or to Heat Factory or to do whatever. So you can put your opponent in really interesting spots. Hustle Bites for a Metal Cardless. It does 10 plus 30 for each opponent's bench Pokemon. Plays right into the ability. Then Big Eater GX. This is amazing. I wish this wasn't weak to fire. Big Eater GX for Metal Colorless. That's all. Reveal your opponent's hand. Discard all supporter cards you find there. Now, obviously, you're going to rebuttal with, hey, Siphon, Pokegear exists. Hey, Siphon, this and that exists. But let's say it's like turn 2. Your opponent Kiawe. Well, I'll even though this won't be in the format, let me just use this example. Let's say your opponent Kiawe onto Charizard turn 1. And you have something in the bench or the active that they want to KO. And they're planning on weldering. And let's say they don't have a Pokegear. Let's say they have 2 welders. Well, you Big Eater GX, you discard both of those welders, and let's say they don't top deck a Pokegear or not energy supporter for like 3 turns. You're able to get set up. Yeah, that Rashizard might take a KO, but it's going to need to turn to cool down. And depending on what deck you're playing, Rashizard won't always get the guaranteed 1-hit KO like it used to. So, I'm also a big fan of Wild GX. Do I think you can build a deck around it? Actually, possibly. I honestly do think that. Your second hit for 160, and then the Big Hitter GX is amazing. And the Captivating Wink in certain situations, I will say this. This is not a one-size-fits-all card. You will need specific strategies or against certain metas that you know where that ability can be helpful. But again, I still like it. Guard Trap Garantina, a deck that I definitely know I'm going to make, unless for some odd reason I just never get the card somehow, which is possible. Guard Trap Garantina, 270 HP, amazing, linear attack. This does 40 to one your opponent's Pokemon for colorless energy. Okay, sure, just a little bit of sniping. But what it leads into is Calamity's Edge. You can do 160 for a Psychic Fighting colorless. Now, this is the downside of running Dragon Pokemon. They have stupid attack costs, but you have things like Malamar that can help, and you have things like Energy Spinner. You can get the energy on there. I promise you will get the energy on there. But you do 160, which is fine. You can kill a lot of non-objectives. But if the active Pokemon already has any damage counters on it. So even 1. Now you're doing an extra 80. So you're doing 240, or at the very least, technically that Pokemon will have 250 HP. So let's say hypothetically you linear attack in turn 1. Well, you're going second turn 1. They got 40 damage on. Let's say it's a Reshizard. Well, now that Reshizard has 230, and then you Calamity Edge, now they're just dead. You see where I'm going? This is nice. This is nice. We have GG and GX, which GG, fair enough. Psychic fighting. Discard 1 of your opponent's Pokemon and all cards attached to him. That's pretty good. Now, I wish the wording was KO, because you could take a prize, but I'll do it. Let's say they're running, obviously, again, this won't be in the current meta. Let's say you're running against a Reshizard yet again. I don't know, I'm just going to keep using Reshizard. And they're trying to pivot with their Miltank to heal up their Reshizard. And they only have 1 Reshizard on the bench. You GG the end it, discard all the energy and the Pokemon itself, where you're like, well then. Now I just have a Miltank inactive and absolutely nothing else, and I'm just gonna die. But if you have 3 extra fighting energy, and specifically this fighting, discard 2 of your opponent's Pokemon and all cards attached to it. Now we're getting somewhere. This Disruption in this deck is absolutely crazy. I am just a fan of this deck. I don't think the main talking point is the GX attack. I think the GX attack is just handy. I'm really looking at this Calamity Edge attack, and I am excited to build. I already have a deck archetype of it built with Baby Giratina, and soon I probably will proxy it and start playtesting it, because I am excited for this. On to a few items that I really want to talk about. We're only going to talk about the big ones. We got Tag Switch. Move up to 2 energies from one of your tag team Pokemon to another. Now, there was some, misconceptions about this deck. Some people thought, is it from a tag team to another tag team? 2 Pokemon to a tag team, but we have the official one. It's 2 energies from one of your tag team Pokemon to another one, so it can technically be anything else. This is great. I love this. You can accelerate something on the bench and give it to the active. Simple enough. Or, depending on how you can pivot, let's just say Reshizard, for example. God, I'm just going to have to keep doing this. What I play the internet. Sorry, guys. Let's say you Double Blaze GX, whatever's in the active, just to kill it. Well, now your Reshizard has 6 energy on there, and 2 of them are just dead. Well, you can take those 2 energies with Tag Switch, move them to a bench Reshizard, attach return to that Reshizard. Oh, look. Now you're just another turn away from having 2 Reshizards ready to go. And again, with the 270 HP, it's hard for a lot of things. Without weakness to kill it, you can really get into some interesting spots and be in a dominating position over your opponent. Reset Stamp. I was a fan of this when I first heard about it. I was like, great. It's just a Marshall that's more fair. But then I thought about it. Early game is definitely more healthy. But late game, this is like one of the most toxic cards you will ever see. So basically, if you do good, you can get punished. Your opponent can talk up Reset Stamp and, oh look, wow. Now I'm down to 1 card in my hand, and oh look, I literally have top deck nothing but garbage because I've ran through most of the good cards in my deck. Well, my opponent finally sets up and splatters my brand across the screen, and can you say they outskilled me? No. I just edged you from a winning position. And, like, it's a one-sided end, and I was personally a fan of it. I thought N was still somewhat fair because it was the supporter for the turn. Now, the question is, how is this better or worse for the meta than Marshadow? So let's compare. Reset Stamp. Item. Only happens to one person. And it's not always bad. You won't always get stuck with 4. You can get stuck with 6. You can get stuck with 5. Marshadow. It's a Pokemon, so it will take up a spot on your bench. And it's an easy Guzma target. And a lot of decks that run Marshadow aren't going to run Giovanni's Exile just for that. And, if Spread ever becomes really good, then that card would just be dead because you couldn't even Giovanni's Exile it. I probably would still go for the reset stamp over the Marshadow for the meta. But at the same time, okay, well, let me do this. So let me break down a lot of turn 1s that my Rishazard deck does. I played on my whole entire hand down to maybe 1 or 2 cards. Let's say it's Marshadow and a dead card. Marshadow let loose, shuffle my hand. Let's just say I get a Lily or Welder or a Cynthia, just 1 or 2. Play down my hand, play a supporter, and just keep going. And then your opponent's still stuck there with a 4-card hand, probably a bunch of cards they don't want, and you just played 15 cards that turn. Well, reset stamp, only your opponent gets affected, and again, early game, it's not going to be as torturous as a let loose will be, because we all know how bad turn 1 let looses are. You can win and lose games by turn 1 let loose, and I don't think you win and lose games by turn 1 reset stamp, but you can lose turn 10 games with reset stamp, so give and take. We have Black Belt, which is a very exciting card, and I'm going to build a deck around it. Well, it's going to be a deck that only really works because of this card. So Black Belt is an item card. If you have more prize cards in your opponent than remaining, the attacks of your... I just realized what I just said. Jesus Christ. It's a good thing I'm not editing this. That would just be yikes. If you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, so they have less than you, the attacks of the Pokemon this card is attached to cost 1 fighting less. So there's pluses and minuses to this card. Obviously, the pluses are obvious. Some cards can just attack for free. Some can actually attack for colors. So like the Garchomp deck, which I will talk about Garchomp later. I'm going to build a deck around that Garchomp, the new one. You slap this on there, you're attacking for a colorless, I believe. Even if it's 1 just fighting energy, that's still fine. So, I think this gives a lot of hope to fighting decks to be a little bit more faster. Now again, you have to be behind, and if you ever catch up, this just doesn't work anymore. But I don't think you're playing 4. You may play 2, and there's easy ways to search it, so... I'm a really big fan of this card. Cannot wait to build decks with this. Coach Trainer. Draw 2 cards. If your active Pokemon's attack team Pokemon, draw 2 more. So you can just draw 4 cards. Just draw 4 cards. Definitely going to be 4 in the binder. I may play Reshizard. I can just draw 4 cards. Let's say I don't need a Welder, because sometimes Welder can be a waste if you just don't need it, but if you just need to draw 3 cards, well, you're going to choose Coach Trainer and draw 4, and you can save Welder for a turn you might actually need it. I'm definitely think that's a 5-star card, or at the very worst 4. Giant Furnace, I've heard Big Oven, I've seen many translations. I'm assuming it's just Giant Furnace. If it's actually called Big Oven, I'm going to throw up. Basically, to sum this up, it's Viridian Forest, but you specifically have to get a Fire Energy, but you get 2. So basically, what you can do here is discard any dead card in your hand, and then you can just play Welder, because you're going to draw 2 energy. It's basically discard a card in your hand, and then just play Welder. Like, the Hyphy plays you can get off of this is just going to be amazing. As if Fire decks needed more help, so... Definitely excited. So we'll get into a couple of the reprints that we do not know if they will matter to the standard format. We would hope so, but we don't know. And the reprints are going to be Escape Rope, Nest Ball, Rotom Dex, Tate and Liza, and that's going to be the reprint. So that's the big cards from GG the end. Overall, I think it's a pretty strong part of the set. Definitely headed by that Garchomp Garrett attack thing that I am very, very excited about. Next, we're going to go to Sky Legends. And the first card that we're going to talk about is Rowlet and Alolan Executor. I just don't know what to think about this card. Strictly because of what's in the meta right now. 270 HP, amazing. As long as you're not going against fire decks, that is just a bunch of HP to get through. And you have things like Large Force Prism Star, you have things like Shaman to heal up. You have, I forget that one supporter, like you can heal 80 damage when a Pokemon has Grass Energy on. Like, you're a big boy. Like, that's a lot of HP to go through. Its first attack, literally 0 energy. You can literally just play it. You literally can just do this attack. Like, who cares? You don't even have to have energy on there. And it reads, Super Grow. Search your deck for a card that evolves from one of your grass Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon and evolve it. And it also reads, if you search for your deck for a Stage 1, you may again search your deck for a card that evolves from that Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon. So I will admit that the last part of the wording's kind of weird. So, like, are you getting instant stage 2s or instant stage 1s? Because, I mean, obviously I think you get instant stage 1s, right? Maybe it's just going on my head. Let me just reread it. Obviously, this is live. Hello. Search your deck for a card that evolves from one of your grass Pokemon. Okay, obvious enough. And put it onto that Pokemon to evolve it. So let's say you're just running Venusaur. Let's just say that. You have Bulbasaur on the bench. You can search for an Ivysaur and evolve it. If I search my deck for a Stage 1 Pokemon, which I did, you may search your deck for a card that evolves from that Pokemon and put it onto the Pokemon. So I think you can literally just get a Venusaur, like, turn 1. Now, obviously, when, like, it gets online and, like, judges say that, we can get official rulings. Because I haven't watched any Japanese matches where this has been into play. But if you can just get, like, a Stage 2 out for free, pretty much. Because the important thing is it's in your deck. This is why I think Duststone is going to be good when the Pokemon that's used on it ever get good enough. Honchkrow should have been that good, but turned out to not really be able to be its standalone deck. But the reason why that card's so good, unlike Rare Candy, you don't have to have it in your hand. You search your deck for it. So this puts a lot of Pokemon back into the meta and back into being playable. So I'm really excited to see how that goes. And again, it's free. Like, you would expect 1 energy, maybe 2 energy to do something, actually maybe 3 to do something ridiculous like this. You can just play it. You don't need anything. Peaceful Hurricane, 150, heal 30, so effectively you can have 300 HP, 300-ish, 330, etc., etc. And again, like I said, you have Life Force Prism Star, you have Shaman, yada yada yada. 150 is fine, you're 2-hit killing pretty much anything meta without buff padding, so not too bad. You're not 1-hit killing a lot of relevant things in the meta outside of things like maybe Buzzwole, Jirachi, some non-GXs really. You're one short of getting Dedenne, which was rather rough. Now, like I said, if this was to 160, I'd be in love with this card. I'd be, oh, this is fantastic. You can KO one of the most popular Pokemon going into post-rotation, but you're going to be 10 damage short. Tropical Hour GX, 200 damage, which is fine. Like, I'm not in love with it for 3 energies, but it could have been worse. This Pokemon has 3 extra energies on it, so any energy. Shuffle all energy attached to each of your opponent's Pokemon back into their deck. I don't think I have to tell you how insane shuffling all energy back. So let's say, yet again, okay, actually, let's use Pikarom. So Pikarom's going to have a lot of energy on the board. You Tropical Hour GX it with the extra energy, and now you basically have wasted their Tapu Koko. You've wasted their Full Blitz. Because their Full Blitz is not going to kill. Not going to kill you. Like, oh man, this is just so great. The more I look at it, the more I like it. Now, if there's a way we can get around the fire matchup with things like, maybe weakness energy and something else we can find to get whatever weaknesses. I think this card has a lot of potential. Retreat Closest 3 is kind of annoying because you can't use Xmaniac, Buff Padding, all this heavy ball, I believe it is. So, but I can deal with it. Keldeo GX. I've heard a lot of people in my local shop talk about this card. To sum it up, it's basically Baby Hoopa as a GX that also has a typing that counters the best type in the format. But the only issue is it cannot one-hit KO Reshizard. So its abilities, for those who doesn't know, it prevents all effects of attacks, including damage, which is important, done to this Pokemon by your opponent's GX or X Pokemon. So it's literally what Hoop does. So it's basically, it can be a wall. Even though it has 107 HP, it's a wall. Sonic Edge for 3 energies does 110, 220 with weakness. If you just had Choice Band, it'd be, doing 140 or 280, which you can tell with a lot of these Pokemon, Choice Band is going to be missed a lot. We have Resolution Sword, does 50 for each your opponent's bench Pokemon, so maybe you can combine it with Mawile. Not the most exciting GX attack, but we're looking at the ability mostly. Naganadel GX, it is the dragon one. And it's a little bit of draw. You discard an Ultra Beast from your hand, so this will go very well into a Beast Box deck. Just draw 3. Sweet. Venom Shoot, discard 2 energy. It's Psychic Triple Colorless. And you do 170 to any Pokemon. On the enemy team side, I should say. Pretty good. Because it attacks for Psychic, this easily fits into Malamar builds. I don't really see much wrong with this card, to be honest. I think this will see a lot of plays in decks of Ultra Beasts. So, Injection GX of single Lightning Energy. Add 1 card from your opponent's discard pile to do their face down prize cards. Now this, clear my throat real quick. I think this will be one of the most troll abilities now. Wording is specific, so do you choose where to... Okay, so technically, opponent can choose any prize card they want. Most people, they do either 3 and 3, or they do 2, 2, 2, and they go from the bottom up. So do you choose where it goes, or do you have to, shuffle, or what exactly do they have to do? And you can do neat things, so let's say you're on a Sledgehammer turn, right? You're on 4. You could Injection GX, and now they're on 5 prizes, and no longer are they on a Sledgehammer turn. Then let's say that's the only real attacker they have out. Well, you just cuck them, and then you just kill them next turn. I think this is amazing. The Lightning Energy is interesting. I don't know what the unit energy that includes Lightning is, but maybe play with unit energy, or just what's it called? Rainbow Energy. I still think the ability is the selling point of this Pokemon, but I think its 2 attacks are definitely something to take a look at. Mojo Zapdos and Articuno GX. This was confirmed to be the promo card in Elite Trainer Box. As far as I've been told, I'm not the most excited about this card. But I do know it won a tournament in Japan, but you can't really follow Japan meta because they have a different format. They already have these cards, and when we get these cards, we'll have a whole different rotation. And you can say, well, you just paid them expanded. Yeah, sorry. I'm pretty sure they don't have freaking Night March, freaking Simon's Mismatoad, Dark Patch, all this degenerate crap, and expanded. Oh, in Japanese meta, I should say. But, what's going on with the card? 300 HP, beefy boy. It's colorless. Boswell still doesn't kill you, unless he's behind on prizes. So, good there. Trendy Burn 210 for Fighting Water Lightning Colorless. Unit Energy, anyone? Unit Energy. But 210 is KOing a lot of things. Even Stage 1 DX is you're KOing some. If Zoroark was in the meta, you just OHKO Zoroark. The energy cost, Not a fan. But what's the GX attack? Sky Legend. For just a simple cardless, you can shuffle this Pokemon and all cards attached to it into your deck. So kind of like an Acerola, but to your deck. Maybe if you know it's gonna get KO'd the following turn, you don't want to give up 3 prizes. Maybe you just Sky Legend. Not the best use for it in my opinion, but let's see what else you can do. If this Pokemon has an additional Fire, Water, Lightning, so basically, can you pay the first attack? Yes. You can do Sky Legend. This attack does 110 to 3 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. And 110 is just unfortunate. If it was 120, I would say this is absolutely fantastic. But the 110 is just not carrying enough relevant stuff for me to want to spend my GX attack for the game to do 110 and KO maybe one Jirachi or Volcania or something that's on there. It'd be different if you were hitting something for a weakness. Actually, no, it wouldn't even matter because you don't even apply weakness and resistance. Yeah. Not the best GX attack. Not the best card at all. Maybe you just do an installing deck. So kind of like the Regigigas was in Soul decks. It was just a lot of HP to go through. I'm just not a fan of anything else. But I would hope to be proved wrong because I will be getting Elite Trainer Box. Normalium Z and Flying Z. Basically the same thing. 4 colorless energy. And if you have Tackle for the Normalium, and for Flying Z, you need Air Slash. The Pokemon you attach to has to have that attack. I do not believe if you have evolutions, if the baby version counts. I do not know. But pretty much, they just do like a bunch of damage and giving you an effective GX attack. I just personally don't see it. Well, okay, maybe in a deck, which I don't know all the Pokemon that have these attacks. Maybe in a deck where you're not running any GXs, so using your GX attack for this, maybe it could work, but then you're not attaching other tools. I just don't know. I would have to see the Pokemon that can use this, and I need to see it in play before I really have anything to say about it. Interesting at the very worst, though. Interesting. U-turn board. The Pokemon this card attached has one less retreat cost, so a lot of Pokemon can get free retreat. And when this card gets discarded from play, return to your hand. So basically, you always have this in your hand unless people are using like hand destruction with Weezing, or it goes back in your deck. So as long as it doesn't actually get removed from your hand, you always either have this in play or have it in your hand. So I think it's a pretty good card. I like it. Speaking of cards I like, Pokemaniac. Search your deck for 3 Pokemon that have a retreat cost of exactly 4, then reveal them and put them in your hand. I'm a big fan of this card. I don't know every Pokemon in the game that has 4 retreat costs, but there's absolutely plenty. So basically anything that can use buff padding can use this. And you can just get them. They can be a basic, evolution stage 1, they can be anything. Just give them in your hand. And like I said, we're losing a lot of search. We're losing Ultra Ball, we're losing Nest Ball. And that, I mean, those are the big 2. We have things like Pokecom, Cherish Ball for GXs and stuff. But just being able to get 3 and just get them, I think is really cool. It's kind of like Professor Elm's Lecture, but for big Pokemon, if you want to say it like that. I'm definitely interested in this card. I'm definitely in for. Jesse and James, we have some hand destruction coming back to the meta, which if you're a fan of that, congratulations. If you're not, sorry. So Jesse and James, both players discard 2 cards from their hand. Simple. And it says your opponent discards first. I believe in certain situations that might matter, but in most situations I don't actually think it matters all that much. Blizzard Town, Pokemon with 40 or less remaining HP can't attack, so not always useful. But I definitely think it's a card you're going to want in your binder, just in case. Yeah, I'm probably going to pick up 2, but I just probably won't put them in decks until like the meta develops enough to where I know it can be useful. It's a wait and see card for me. So next we have Recycle Energy, and this is I think it's been since Neo Genesis, since Recycle Energy's been legally playable and standard. And what it basically does, if it gets discarded in any way, just put it back in your hand. So really, there's no excuse to never have a way to have an attached return unless it gets literally discarded from your hand, or if it just gets shuffled back in there. Kind of like U-turn board. There's no reason you can't play this in a turn where, like, maybe you don't have anything else to do. Just attach that to something. You'll always have it, eventually. And the reprints for the set is going to be Netball, Gladian, Lily, and Lucamine. And the last set in the Unified Minds expansion, unless there's some, like, hidden set being added to it. I know there's, like, remix about Hidden Fates. I do not believe they're going to be in Unified Minds. If there are, someone correct me in the comment section. But we have the Miracle Twin set, headed by some really good Pokemon. I think this is probably the best part of the set is Miracle Twin. And let's start off with one of the memeiest decks ever. Not for the attack, well, partially for the attack, but for the cards, Pokemon's on it. Slowpoke and Psyduck. And the funniest part is, it has 250 HP, making it one of the bulkiest things in the game. Two derpy basic Pokemon have the ability to be one of the most tankiest things in the game, and it's such a degenerate card, and I absolutely love it. So, Poi Poi Splash. For 2 water energy, it does 40 times the amount of supporters you discard from your hand. And I'll go ahead and spoil something else in this set. There's a Missy's Request or Missy's Wish. I don't know what the actual English translation will be when we get it. But it basically allows you to get any 3 supporter cards and put them in your hand. And then you have a Lapras that allows you to get Missy's Wish from the discard pile. So you can continuously loop and loop and loop. I mean, think about this card with Lieutenant Surge. You can just loop Missy's Requests and stuff. It's just, there's so many things you can do with this. The 40 damage is pretty nice. Card Recharge, you will need to discard 4, I believe, to get 320. Because if you discard 3, it'd only be 120, which is 240. So you'll need to discard 4. But like I said, with things like Missy's Request, you will just get them back. You'll be fine. I think it's a very good attack. And especially for 2 water energy, which isn't hard to get. You're powering this up in 2 turns, and then it just, do you have it in your hand to KO whatever in front of you? Or at the very least, 2 at KO. Pounding Time GX. Now this, my god. I already know one person will be able to flip. Okay, let me go over the attack before I talk about it, like before I go in depth. So flip a coin. This is if you have 2 water energy. If this attack heads, you do 100 more damage, so you'll do 110. Not carrying a lot of things, but if this Pokemon has 6 extra water energy, so you're going to need 8 water energy on it, you flip 10 coins, and it does 100 more damage for each head. So I don't know who it's going to be. Someone's going to flip 10 heads and do 1,000 damage. Actually, 1,010 damage. And that will be absolutely hilarious. There's also going to be the guy that flips 0 heads and gets 10 tails and does 10 damage. I don't care which happens first. I don't care which one happens to me. That's still going to be hilarious. Now, the grass weakness is not terribly relevant. Again, you are hitting weakness for the best archetype in the game right now. And your attacks... You're not playing the GX unless you're just a member. The regular attack, again, you just need 4 supporters to kill Reshizard. I'm okay with that. I am digging this card. Now, for the next card, I've already playtested it in multiple decks. I am just loving it so much right now. I definitely think this is... You grab 4, but you may not put 4 in a deck, but you definitely grab 4. Whenever you can get it for the cheapest possible. Ability Perfection for Mewtwo Tag Team GX. 270 HP, and the ability is Perfection. This Pokemon can use all attacks from EX or GXs on your bench or your discard pile. So think of Marshadow, but not an awful card. I actually had 2 Remoraid Marshadows and I sold them for a deck box. I mean, it's a Titan deck box. Shout out to Titan for making an amazing deck box. But the amount of things you can just copy, I used it mostly in a... Wait, what? Hold on a second. I'm being asked to play on untap. Oh yeah, this is live, by the way. Let's go live. Yeah, I'm literally the best. All right, so back to talking about perfection. I use this on my peak ROM list, and the GXs I could copy. I could copy Dedene's GX attack. I could copy Zero's attack for 160. I could copy both of what's it called? Peak ROM's attacks, which can either accelerate energy or hit two different Pokemon. Absolutely amazing. Or it was what was the other one I used? Raichu, Alolan Raichu. I could have copied any of those attacks. Now, yes, people are most likely going to be playing Power Plant, and it will be hard to get the Power Plant off because there's no Field Blower. But I don't think that matters. I definitely think this will be like top 5 cards in the standard format going into Worlds. I could go on and on about different things you can do with perfection. If you play the game and you know that wow, effing up already, Jesus Christ. GXs exist, I don't think I really need to explain to you how good this ability is. We have Miracle Twin GX, does 200 damage for us, 2 Psychic and a Colorless. But if you have an additional energy on it, heal all damage from all your Pokemon. They freaking make every freaking Mewtwo card busted. I hate it, man. I don't want the Mewtwo Awards to come back. The great thing about the... God. I was going to say the great thing about it is, but it's really a bad thing. At the very least, if both people have a Mewtwo tag team, at least one of you guys are killing the other Mewtwo tag team. But then the other player decides a Mewtwo tag team, and oh god, this is freaking Mewtwo Wars all over again, and I'm just not excited. Mew's literally just there like, oh god. Here we go again. And I agree with you, Mew. Here we go again. Latios GX is the next card, and I am definitely in favor of this card. Power Bind, if you have 4 or less Pokemon in play, this Pokemon can't attack. But a lot of people pointed out you just Power Plant yourself, and oh look, no, you don't have that. Tag Purge, 120 for a Psychic, double Colorless. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done by tag teams to this Pokemon. And what is the most popular type of Pokemon to run? A tag team. Guess what you're immune to? A tag team. Can anyone tell me if this card's busted? A tag team. I'm just playing. Yes, this card's absolutely busted. And you have things like Jirachi coming into the meta, which takes away your Psychic weakness. So the 170 is not the worst to have. Being immune to tag team Pokemon, which is the best thing to run, I am just flabbergasted that this card's allowed to be a thing. I mean, at the very least, as long as it didn't just say GXs, if it just said GXs, I think this card would not. I just don't know. This card's just crazy. 120, obviously without choice span. Most relevant thing you're KOing is Peak ROM in 2 turns, which they can't even attack you back. Dude, this card's so amazing. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. And even if you don't have the ability turned off, like, it's not that hard to get at least 5 Pokemon on the 4 Pokemon on the bench, because it says in play. So if you have 4 Pokemon on the bench and then you have the Latios and the active, that's 5. Not the most difficult. So I wouldn't be too worried about the ability. Power planting yourself just makes it to where you can always attack with it. So, Clear Vision GX, which is the GX attack for just a psychic. Until the end of this game, your opponent cannot use any GX attacks. And I'm just like, bruh. And on top of this has free retreat on top of this. Why did you give this degenerate Pokemon the ability to have Jirachi, the ability to be immune to tag teams, 2-hit KO Pikarom, not let your opponent use GX attacks, and you gave it free retreat? Pokemon, what were you thinking? I mean, I already know what's gonna happen. I'm watching me eat my words, and this is like a tier 2 card. Well, a 2-star card. Like, watch it. Like, no one ever plays this because it's just a terrible Pokemon. Just watch. Even though I think it's absolutely busted. I already know for some reason, just because I raved about this card, I'm going to get kicked in the shins with this. But I absolutely think this card's busted. We have Aerodactyl GX, 210 HP. Pretty bulky. Weakness to Grass. Grass is not that relevant. It could be with the new tag team coming out. But I think for now, that 210's pretty safe outside of things like Reshizard and Pikarom with, Electropowers and etc., etc. But the ability is what I assumed this would have been the first deck I was going to build, and this still might be the first deck I build because of the new stadium. I apologize. Well, that's unfortunate. We burped on the mic. And 30 people just left. If I even get 30. Oh, wait, that was supposed to be the studio on it. Let me restart. Pretend I burped. Oh, God, it's lost like 30 freaking people. Someone in the comment section, if you even get 2 people to watch this podcast, and to the person commenting that, you know what, I have feelings. You can settle down a little bit. I have feelings, dude. Okay, so ability, Wind of Atom. While this is your active Pokemon, your opponent's basic Pokemon need 1 colorless energy more to attack. Oh my gosh. The amount of decks, this just hurts. So much. So decks that just want to attack for a triple colorless. Obviously if this was the format now, attacks, like this would just freaking cuck so many decks if this was legal right now. But even post-rotation, I definitely think that this hurts, like I said, tag teams. So now, like Reshizard, for example, now you need 5 energy to attack. You need 3 energy just to outrage. 3 energy is how much you used to do for your GX attack for 200, which doesn't even kill this. I think this ability is insane. And the fact that it's only a stage 1 rather than a stage 2 fossil Pokemon makes a big difference. Again, the 210 HP is really good. The other 2 attacks, Boulder Crush does 120, while Dive does 50 for the amount of energy attached to your opponent's active. So think Tapu Koko GX plus something that does 120. Okay, think Tapu Koko and Baby Buzzwole had like a kid, and then he got wings and like didn't brush his teeth and was somehow a dinosaur. And have a degenerate ability. That's this Pokemon. I absolutely love it. Oh, and another Pokemon has free retreat. Why are we giving these good Pokemon free retreat? Like, oh my gosh, I love this card. Mega Sableye and Tyranitar GX, 280 HP, so really bulky. Weakness to Fighting, which sucks. Resistance to Psychic, which could be key. Retreat cost of 4, which I've already told you a couple ways to search Pokemon. With a retreat cost of 4, pretty nice. First attack, Greed Crash, 210, killing a lot of things in the meta. But it is 4 Dark Energy and a single colorless. But there will be ways to get that on there. Don't you worry about it. If you knocked out a GX or an EX with this attack, take 1 additional prize. So what you're telling me is, if I kill, let's just say, that Aerodactyl I just talked about, I get 3 prizes. I get a tag team's worth of prizes. If I killed a tag team, like let's say Reshizard, I get 4 prizes. So this makes the game to where like you can literally win the game in 2 attacks. Well, maybe 3. Well, 3 attacks, we'll say. Well, or maybe 2, depending. I think this is great. And you will have things like Weavile and Naganadel to get the energy on, things like Incineroar. Not grass. Dark is getting a lot of support in Unified Mind, so I don't think the energy cost again will be too bad. Gigafall GX 250 kills a lot of things. As I said, same energy cost as the first attack for Dark One Colorless. But if this Pokemon has 5 extra energies attached, so you're going to need a whopping 10 energies. That's going to be exciting to put on the board. 10 energies on this Pokemon. Discard the top 15 cards of your opponent's deck. You can get into scenarios where you literally just win the game because you Gigafall GX someone. Even if you don't kill what's in the active, let's say it's in game and they only have like 13 cards left in deck. Think about this against Ninja Control. You know, let's say they're getting to that like 8 to 11 card loop that they can just keep sprinting, rock gridding, recycle management, just keep looping. You can just say Gigafall GX 250, discard the top 15. Oh wow, now they can't win because they can't even draw, so they lose. I think this card, including with this bulk, the attacks can be awkward. Even though there are ways to accelerate, the energy cost is still rather awkward. I think that would be the only drawback to this card. So we'll see how it develops. I absolutely love this. Dragonite GX, really interesting card here. For 250, I won't go over the first attack because why would I? Sky Judgment does 270. Only a few Pokemon can live to tell the tale without resistance or a buff padding or just something that can change the HP or the damage from this Pokemon. And it's 5 colorless, so technically you can put this in any deck. Like, you can put this in a deck where you have Welder. And you literally Welder to it twice and attach return. And now you can just do 270 and kill something. You discard 3 energy from this Pokemon. But if you use that 3 energy to kill a Reshiram and Charizard, I'm taking that every day of the week. Like 270. I believe that even kills Mutactin, correct? Wait, where the heck is? Wait, hold on. My page literally just like scrolled up like by accident. Okay. So yeah, you do kill the Mewtwo tag team, so really loving this card. Mac Delivery GX. Draw until you have 10 cards in hand. You may discard any number of hand cards before drawing as you like. So think of Drampa GX mixed with Sightseer. And it's for a single colorless energy as well. So like, you theoretically can just do this whenever you want. Because like, if you're in a situation where you literally have 0 energy in hand, you have bigger problems. But if you can get energy in play, you can literally just like, so let's say you Dedenne for 6 new cards. You play down your hand. You match Delivery GX. You discard whatever else in your hand. Just draw 10. Now, the only downside of this does no damage, which can hurt, but I definitely think the hand development you get is well worth it. And again, single colorless energy. The Pokemon card's not asking for much here. On into the items, we have Great Potion, amazing card. Heal 50 damage from the active GX. Like I said, we're losing things like Acerola and whatnot, so I think this definitely helps. And specifically as GXs, I believe the meta is going towards GX focus because single prize decks are losing things like Ultra Ball and Nest Ball, where they can just flood the field and just trade prizes, and now it's just going to be much harder. And GXs have targeted search. A lot to think about. Stadium Navi, not too high on this card to be honest. You flip 2 coins, for each head, you get a Stadium card in your hand. And good turn 1, maybe turn 2, but like, I don't think I'm running a lot of these. I definitely. Oh gosh, we're yawning. Hope that was relaxing. Now, the fact that you can flip 2 coins gives you a chance to at least get 1. There's not many chances you'll just get 2 tails unless you're me, so. You'll get a same amount of this, so. Not the worst. We have a new unidentified fossil, which is 60. I believe that one was 40, correct? Obviously can't look for it right now, but I believe the other one was 40. And it's fine. Giant bomb, which I hope it has a different translation, because the backlash that Pokemon's gonna get if it's literally called giant bomb, just because of reasons. But let's not talk about the name of the card, even though we kind of have to. Discard this card at the end of your opponent's turn. But if the active Pokemon, so your Pokemon, that this card sets you, receives 180 or more damage, even if it gets KO'd, put 10 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. So you can do 100. Now, I'm glad it says 10 damage counters rather than 100 because it can't be mitigated. You physically just put 10 damage counters on there, which is really nice. So I think a lot of decks are really going to like this here. There's some cards that aren't really featured on this tab. Like, I know there's a Slat King card in this, and I have not seen it yet. Oh, you know what I did? I clicked hide non-GX or present Pokemon when I meant to click hide less relevant cards. I could have had a lot more to talk about. Well, we can go back through slowly. Whoopsie. It's a good thing this is live, by the way, right? Alright, to finish off with the, like I said, trainers again, we have Missy's Request, which is search your deck for 3 supporters, and reveal them and put them in your hand, so this comes really well with the Slowpoke and Psyduck deck. Chandler, it's a one-sided Ace Trainer, which removes all effects of attacks from you and your Pokemon. It can be good for getting things like Wild Plume and stuff. Blue Strategy, so at the car shop I went to, we had a heated argument between me and someone else, is if this is good. Now, I think drawing 8 cards is good. No matter what. Well, drawing until you have 8. But their argument was it's at the end of the turn. So you're playing an energy card, and nothing happens during your turn. But, check this out. Lieutenant Surge, play down your hand. Play Blue Strategy. Play something else. Play down your hand yet again. And then at the end of the turn, you just refresh your hand. Now, will this be perfect in every situation? No, things like Grand Bull, not going to want this. But decks that can play down their hands very easily, yes, they're going to love this. Slumber Forest, to basically sum this up, if someone's asleep, they have to flip 2 coins and they both need to be heads. So sleep decks are coming back. I already know a lot of people are talking about sleep decks. I'm not excited. Unless I play it, then I'm very excited. Pokemon Research Lab, this is why fossil Pokemon might make a return. Once during each player's turn, they may search your deck for 2 Pokemon that evolve from an unidentified fossil and put them on their bench. So you can get things like Aerodactyl. Well, I think Aerodactyl is like the biggest one. You can get things like the new Archeops, Kabuto. Well, they can't be Stage 2s. They can be Stage 1s, but if there's a Stage 2 to the card, it effectively makes it a Stage 1. But the other downside is it ends your turn, so you're going to definitely do this last. You're going to want to play as much as you can, and then use the effect of this card. Weegar of Energy, which I believe it might have been printed before, may not have. It just sounded familiar when I seen it. This card provides 1 colorless energy, which is fine. And the Pokemon has no weakness, so this helps out fire decks and metal decks against fire. Helps out. Helps out. Obviously, I don't have to tell you the value of not having a weakness in this meta. And the reprints for this set will be Palpad, Pokegear, Mysterious Treasure, and Sightseer. I will. flip this real quick. There was some things I didn't talk about because they just didn't really show up. You have Espeon Deoxys, which I really don't want to talk about. I don't think it's that good, to be honest. I will talk about Jirachi GX, which don't apply weakness for a psychic Pokemon, which is pretty nice. Let's see if we can scroll and find anything for GG the End. We'll start off with. Okay, Lily just scrolled me all the way into the bottom. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, nope, just gotta do that. Alright, let's see if we can find anything. Oh, Chandelure! I totally forgot about this. Sorry if you hear my chair squeaking. So sorry. So Chandelure, I am definitely building this deck. It's gonna be a budget deck, I feel. And what the attack does? Chandelure, fire. It's a fire Pokemon. Has 140 HP, which is decently nice if you're not going against water. Look at the top 5 card. Discard the top 5 cards of your deck. So it's some self-mill, but sometimes self-mill can be good, depending on the situation. This attack does 60 damage for each Pokemon you discard this way. So you discard 1, it's 60, 2, 120, 3, 180, etc., etc. The max you can do is 300, unless I'm just bad at math. 60, 120, 180, 2 something. Yeah, I think it's 300. But you put any number of fire Pokemon you discard on this way onto your bench. Now, I seen a deck that its main job was to get Chandelure out turn 1, which you can. Well, no, you can get this out turn 2, I apologize. With things like Duststone, because Duststone applies to Litwick, I believe. And you're going to search your deck for, things that evolve. So you can get this out turn 2. And just start discarding. And like I said, one thing about discarding, it allows you to thin your deck out. And as long as you're not discarding anything too bad, that's really important, you can get some of the trash out of your deck. So, but you can use things like Charizard, like literally the team up Charizard. Like, I can go on and on about the fire Pokemon you can use. You can use like a Firebox deck while doing a decent amount of damage. And like I said, you can run Stage 2, Stage 1, whatever you want, whatever you need. And you just put them on the bench. So think like Lance Prism Star. How you can just put Dragon Pokemon on the bench. This is the same thing for Chandelure. Give me 1 second. We're back from this commercial break. Hello. But I definitely think this card has a lot of potential. Will it really last to be like one of the best decks in format? I think no. But I would definitely not sleep on this card. Let's see if we find anything else. This is an Alolan Raichu. For 1 energy, you can discard as many electric energy from this Pokemon, and you can do 30 to 1 of your opponent's Pokemon for each energy you discard, so not the worst. Stunfisk, for a fighting, it's an electric Pokemon, but for fighting energy, if your opponent's active Pokemon has more remaining HP than this Pokemon's attack does, 30 more, so 60 base, so not the worst. You have a Thundurus card that can do 70 for 2 energy if Thundurus on your bench. Not my favorite. Now, Alolan Marowak is going to be so memey. So it's a little bit of hand destruction. It's a little bit of mill. And it's free mill because it costs 0 energy to do this. Ghost Destruction. Discard the top card from your opponent's deck. If you discard a Pokemon, this attack does damage equal to the HP of that Pokemon. So imagine like late game, right? You're going against, let's just say you're going against Pikarom. And let's say you chip Ice Axe them, because I think that would be good. You would make them have to top deck their own Pikarom. You Ghost Destruction, and you just Oko the Pikarom for free. And it's only a Stage 1 too, and you have things like Mysterious Treasure because it's Psychic. I think this deck definitely has a potential. I don't think you make a deck around it, but definitely has a tech. I am just down. I am so down for this card. Let's see. We have a Drift Bloom ability that has tag carry. Once during your turn, you may switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. Has to be a tag team. Not too bad. We have a Giratina that discards a special energy. We have a Muna, which for its attack, you can look at the top 4 cards of your player's deck and put them back in any order. Not too bad. See if we find anything else from GG at the end that we're really excited about. Okay, so it's a good thing I changed the thing because I never would forgot. So the Garchomp I was talking about earlier. This is it. So we have Garchomp. Stage 2, obviously, 150 HP. We wish it was a little bit higher, but not that bad. The ability, Counterattack Aura. If you have more prizes manning than your opponent, this Pokemon's attacks do 80 more damage. So, and its attack, over the edge. A Fighting Colorless, and this is the important. So if you have the Fighting Fury Bow or whatever it is, now you're just attacking for a Colorless, which is pretty nice. You may discard an energy from this Pokemon, and if you have everything set up like I said, you'll just have 1 energy on it. And if you do, this attack does 40 more damage. So you do 120 to kill Oko Pikarom, or you can just do 200, or you can do 200. I mean, you'll be doing 200 regardless. I think this deck has a lot of potential to be a standalone deck. So the deck idea I had, which would be it's going to be the kind of the next part of the podcast, is Lily. You run Garchomp, Mismagius, and you use Mismagius to KO themselves to give yourself some hand advantage, and hit you behind on what's it called? Not cards. Prizes. So imagine if you have Fighting Dojo plus this ability. So you do 120 with the over the edge of your discard. We're at 120, which is nice. Now you're doing 80 extra because you're behind, so now you're at 200. And then you do an extra 40. You literally KO Pikarom without even if they somehow get rid of their weakness. Tell me that's not amazing. And another thing is retreat cost is 0. So if something gets KO'd, you can just put this in active and retreat it for free. I love it. Lucario, 120 HP, as the ability Tag Team Coach, which this will be a decent card. I wonder how good it's actually going to be. Your Tag Team Pokemon take 20 less damage from your opponent's stack, so I think this makes way for certain, like, Stoli. I think Lucario Melmetal just adores this. So, like, okay, let's say you're Lucario Melmetal, right? GX attack, you take minus 30, okay? Model Frying Pan, minus 60. This, minus 80. Yeah, taking minus 80 damage every turn. Yeah, that's a bulky boy. I am definitely going to pick these up. Now the question is, how many do you run? Because it doesn't say if it stacks or not. If it does stack, my oh my, that's going to be crazy. We have a new Hoopa coming out, which has 20 for each opponent's Pokemon that has an ability in play. I know Japan was really loving this card. I'm personally not a fan. But we will see. Let's see if we find anything else in GG at the end. Okay, Hackerus, I forgot about this. Has the ability Grinder Up. Once during a turn, you may discard Stadium, then attach 3 fire or metal energy from your hand to this Pokemon, which is pretty good. And its attack for a Fighting Metal does 10 and does 40 for each energy attached to this Pokemon. So bare minimum if you use Grinder Up, and you already had the energy call, so it's going to be 5. So what is that? 200? So you're doing 210 minimum. Well, I think that's minimum. Now obviously it can be less in certain scenarios, or it can be more. I definitely think this has a this can probably be its own deck. Will it be? I don't know. But something that definitely won't be its own deck will definitely be played in much of deck is a new Kangaskhan for 4 colorless energy. Tag Impact does 50 for each tag team Pokemon in play. That's on your side of the field. Let's say you have a bench of 5. Well, now you're doing 250 as a single prize basic Pokemon. I don't think I have to tell you that that's an amazing thing. Let's see if we can find anything else. There's a baby Munchlax. Not really excited about that. See if we can find anything that I'm super interested in. Nope. So that's it for GG the end. Sky Legend. See. Oh, so there's a Crustal coming out. This Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks, making its 120 HP pretty much 150, which is pretty solid. Fire weakness, which is very unfortunate, but Fury Cutter for Grass Total Colorless for 3 coins. If one of them's head, it does 40 more, which has base 50, so you're doing 90. If 2 of them are heads, you're doing 130. If all of them are heads, you're doing 200. I don't think it's the best Pokemon, but it's definitely something worth talking about. Let's see. Oh, their new Serena. Queen Reward. Once during your turn, you may attach a Grass Energy from your discard pile to your active Pokemon. It's pretty much Malamar for Grass, but it has to be in the active, which in some situations is actually better. There are annoying times with Malamar where, let's say you have Ultra Necrozma, and the active you just killed something, and now you want to recharge, but you have no way to get on the bench. That can be rough. But with Queen's Reward, you can attach things to the active, so I'm excited about this. Let's see. Oh, the new Frostlass, which is probably the hardest Charizard count I've ever seen. Put 7 damage counters on this Pokemon. This attack does 20 more damage for each damage counter you do in this way. So basically, you do 140 or 280 to kill Charizard as a Stage 1 Pokemon for 1 energy. Trouble is, then you only have 10 HP left. So, in some situations, not the funnest HP to be at. But I mean, if you can kill a Charizard, your job's done. So, I think it's really good. We have a Syogana. I don't really know how you say its name. It's like the snowflake one. Think of Seismitoad, but not an EX and a little bit less bulky. So for Frozen Lock for 1 energy, does 10 damage, which obviously is laughable. But your opponent cannot play item cards from their hand during the next turn. So that's why it's pretty much Seismitoad for a better energy cost, but at the same time, way less bulky and a little bit less damage. I think the 20 less damage is relevant because, in 3 turns you're doing 90 compared to 30. I'm not really enjoying that, but still the lock I think is pretty good. Maybe this is not like an every turn attacker. Maybe you just check with it once, you switch it into something else. And maybe that turn they can play items, really slows them down to the point where they can't do anything. Top of Finny, Nature's Wave, you can do 100 for 3 energy, but if there's an Ultra Beast in play on the opponent's side, you attack for a single colorless. So you can KO Bucephalon for a single energy, which is nice, and it's colorless. So maybe this is like a one-off tech if Bucephalon stays really powerful. The new Zergatree is pretty much Buzzwole for lightning Pokemon. We have an Arbok, which when this Pokemon gets knocked out by damage from your opponent's Pokemon, discard 2 random cards from opponent's hand. So I really think hand destruction's coming back. The only issue is you have to do specific things only at specific times. It's not like on-demand hand destruction, but I still think it's hand destruction nonetheless. Rocket Tail is interesting. Psychic Double Colorless. If you have Jesse and James in discard pile, now you're doing 130, 260 with weakness. You're 10 short of KOing Mewtwo Tag Team, which is where I think this card will fall short because you have 120 HP. You get KO'd by a lot of things. It's still something to look out for. A new Weezing card. When you discard this card from your hand with the effect of Jesse and James, which means you discard 2 cards from your hand, you may have your opponent discard a card from their hand. So now you're having your opponent discard 3 things from their hand. And the thing is, you don't even have to run the coughing. You don't even have to. You literally can just have this in your hand. Let's see if we can find anything else. Not finding anything else so far. Oh, Licky Licky. I'm interested in this card. Lick Lick Dance for 3 energy, 90 damage. Discard a random card from your opponent's hand, then the top card from your opponent's deck, and energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. This is just a massive cuck. And because it's an evolution Pokemon, you can play this for their triple acceleration energy. Or you can use engines like Malamar and Motor. I definitely think this card is fun. And with a Chico as a 4, you can easily search it with Pokemaniac. I want to see if this can ever do something. I'm very interested. Because this can be so disruptive. This can be more disruptive than Standard Mail and even the hand instruction that's coming out. Let's see if we can find anything else. Not seeing anything else too fun that I really want to talk about. Okay, so that's going to be it for that. And going on to the last set. Alright, hold on. League page. So, Miracle Twin. Let's see. We have a Celebi that defaults Pokemon because what else would it do? Let's see. The Vanny, you can reduce damage done to your grass Pokemon by 40, which for things like Celebi and Venusaur are just amazing, because again, you have Lapras and Prismastar. You have things like Shaman, so I'm definitely down with that. Among Us has been a big card. I'm surprised it was in the relevant section on Limitless. I definitely think this has big opportunities. So Outburst Spore. Once during your turn, when you play a Pokemon with a Spore attack from your hand, which its pre-evolution has, and there's, I believe Breloom has it, or something, and there's also things like Mareep. Obviously, it doesn't have that attack, but it's things you can combo with it, with things like Slumber Forest. But if you put a Pokemon with the Spore attack from your hand to play, and you leave your opponent's attack, poison, and asleep, I don't think I have to tell you how good that is. Venoshock, and can do 90 for opponent's poison. Not the most fun. We have Lapras, which, was the combo card with Misty's Request that I talked about earlier. Let's see if we can find anything. So, we have not Tool Lock, but Tool Disruption. We're at Caracosta. It's a stage 2, but it's a fossil Pokemon, and we talked about how much helps fossil support is getting. Your opponent's tools have no effect, so it's only your opponent's, which is very helpful. A lot of things like that, like Last Iron Labs, mean no tools are in effect, but the fact that it's only for your opponent can be very helpful. Let's see if we can find anything else. A Gliscopod. If this Pokemon has Shortless Energy on it, has no retreat. Has no retreat calls, I should say, rather. And its first impressions, kind of like the other Gliscopod, but just kind of way worse. If this Pokemon was on the bench and became an active Pokemon this turn, does 180. That's a lot of damage, and you're killing Reshizard. Outside of that, not my most favorite thing. We have Electric. Discard all energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 30 for each card you discard in this way. Pretty helpful, actually. This is one of the better cards. It's not even the final evolution. Speaking of the final evolution, Electros, its ability is if you have 4 or more energy in play, you may put this card from your hand onto the bench with any number of lightning energy from your other Pokemon to this Pokemon, which is pretty good. And its attack, which is, I don't even know how to say it, so I'm not even going to attempt to. 130 for 4 energy, so basically, you put this on the bench, you put it in play, you can do 130. Not too bad, but you have to have 4 more energy in play, but with some of the decks going around, it's not going to be that hard. We have a new type of Coco. If your opponent's active Pokemon is an Ultra Beast, this attack does 100 and more, so you're doing 200 for 3 energy. But the downside is you have to discard 1 energy from this Pokemon. The retreat cost of 1 is pretty good. You can use things like Escape Board or U-Turn Board and be all good. Egg Judgment is a really fun card. Execute Oh my gosh. Oh, son of a. Executor. We did it. We did it, gamer. It's a really fun card with the attack Egg Judgment. You do 180 damage for a Psychic Dollar cardless, so not a hard, bad attack cost, but you discard your hand. What the specific thing is what it doesn't say. Because other attacks that are like this is if you don't have any cards in hand, you cannot use this attack. No. You can have 0 cards in hand, use this. You're discarding nothing, so this encourages you to be able to play your hand down. Or if you just have trash stuff in your hand, you just discard it. Now, you get into the issue when now you're just top decking. Boy, you can KO a Mewtwo tag team with this. You can KO a lot of like stage 1 GXs or basic GXs that are not tag teams. I definitely think this has opportunities to be very good. Let's see if we can find anything else. We have the Behem, which your opponent can pay any items this turn for 3 energy, 90 damage, but you shuffle all of the Pokemon and all the cards attached to it back into your deck. So you can loop this with triple acceleration energy and not actually lose the triple acceleration energy, which is really good. We have a new Aegislash, which is one of my favorite Pokemon. Is if this Pokemon is knocked out by damage for one of your opponent's attacks, instead of discarding this Pokemon, put in all previous stages into your hand. Discard all cards attached to it, so basically you keep the Pokemon line but use any energy or tools. Wobble Slash does 10 damage for each item in your discard pile, yours. But the max you can do is 130 with this, or 260 with weakness. Yet again, 10 short of killing Mewtwo tag team, which is where I think this might fall a little bit short. But we will see. We have an Necrozma, which is also one of the promo cards, actually. And I don't think it's that good, but I just want you to keep the name Necrozma in mind. Let's see if we find anything else pretty good. We have the Breloom, which has the Spore attack, which goes good with the Amoonguss. And the attack the Dormant does 30, but if your active Pokemon is asleep, it does 120. So if you put a Pikarom to sleep, you can just kill it the next turn, or if you have things like Mareep, you can just kill it. I think it's pretty nice. Escadrille is pretty much a Rangaroo on steroids. Well, not on steroids. It is for fighting, so it doesn't go in every deck, but you can use things like Rainbow or Unit Energy. And you get 4 cards and put them from discard pile in the back of your deck. And specifically, it's Shuffle. Not just on the bottom, so it gives you a better chance to actually get them. But obviously, the Shine Ninja Control deck wants them on the bottom for certain reasons, depending on their build. The Archeops is very fun. You can do 40 and switch with for 1 energy, or for also 1 energy, you can do 80 and discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Amazing card. Just absolutely amazing. Terrakion, if all of your bench Pokemon have damage, you can do 200. We need specific ruling, because if you do not have a bench, does this attack do the extra damage? I would think not, but just in case. We have a Sableye, which if you get damaged, you put 8 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. I'm just trying to see if there is anything else worth talking about. There's the Baby Dragonite, which allows you to attach lightning and a water energy to one of your Pokemon anywhere you like. Not that much of a fan. We have a Noivern, which can do Boom Burst, so 20 to everything, so pretty much Flying Flip. If you want to call it that, Flying Flip. We have a Slat King, which if this is your active Pokemon and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, put 4 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. And Dynamic Swing, if you do 100 more you can do 100 more damage. If you do, this opponent you receive 100 more damage in your opponent's next turn. 200 is nice. But I think you can combo with this is Big Bomb or Giant Bomb. So you're returning, what is it, 220 or is it 180 or 100? I mean, you're basically returning 100 plus damage. And imagine if like, oh wow, imagine if they can't kill you because of some reason. I don't know, if maybe you have buff padding. Well, no, you can't use Giant Bomb. At the same time, you're killing a lot of things with the 200 damage. And even if you don't, like, let's say they don't even kill you with this, you still did 200. So, like, let's say something hits you for, like, 30. You're only taking 130 damage next turn, you still have 50. You can just do it again. I think this is going to be a really good Pokemon. Let's see if we can find anything else. Believe that is going to be it. Alright, yep, that is going to be it. So now, what we're going to do is I'm going to give you guys some deck ideas that I have that specifically are based around these Pokemon that we're seeing. I definitely think a Garchomp Mismagius deck is going to be one of the most interesting things that we get. Because, again, you can knock out the Mismagius to automatically put yourself behind on prizes. You can get a lot of cards in your hand, and you just do more damage. I think that's going to be very interesting. I definitely think a Mewtwo Toolbox deck. A lot of people are already playing around with it. I don't know about a Toolbox deck, but I definitely think a Mewtwo as a 1 or 2 add addition to most tag teams. Or even just GX decks is going to be pretty good. There's a Darkrai Umbreon card that I think might have something. Let's see here. Alolan Executor and Rowlet. I would like to see a deck like that. By the way, like I said, I'm going to give you guys a bunch of deck ideas. I'm really just saying random cards. Obviously, the more I do this, the more structured it will be. This is just a first take, no script, just some bullet points and just talking. That's what I want this to be. I want this to be just nice and genuine. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it. I talked about a lot of my favorite cards. I think the Dark Box, Weavile, and Umbreon Darkrai deck is gonna be interesting. Things like Cherish Ball are gonna be really good. Hapu, Night City, like I think all of these sets have really good cards. It's just how much we Unified Minds overall impact the meta. Personally, I think it has a chance to be just as good as Team Up and Unbroken Bonds was. Or it could be Forbidden Light. Or what was actually, I would have said Dragon Majesty, but technically that was a mini set, and then some of the cards turned out to be really good. But it could be Dragon Majesty before we thought things were good. Let's just phrase it like that. So what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and just randomly end the video. You guys thought into the podcast, didn't you? But guys, if you guys made it this far, please leave a like and subscribe. Follow me on all my social media. It's going to be linked in the description. I thank you for all your support. Any questions? Maybe we can do like a Q&A section at some point on the podcast. I think that would be pretty fun. Just anything you guys want, any feedback is very well welcome. It's been your boy Siphon from Siphon TCG. Hopefully I stopped doing that intro and outro. And I'll see you guys next time. Keep it crazy. Oh god, that was terrible. Just freaking end it. Press the stop button.